Nicholas, there's so many things broken with the immigration system and everybody knows it, but they know it piecemeal in different ways. One thing I want to know from you is if you had the power to change something in the immigration space, what would it be?
There's been so much inaction for pretty much as long as you and I have been in practice. From the national ALA perspective, something we've been beating the drum on National Day of Action when we go to Washington, D.C. and we get on the Hill and we're talking with our representatives and we give them clear and concise ideas and concepts and these ideas, these asks about things that absolutely could change and that aren't completely overhauling the system. The first one that comes to mind is the 245I cutoff date. 245I essentially is a reflection of a date and time, the end of April of 2001, where if people filed a family petition without having had entered the United States with a visa to be able to fix their status in the United States, right? It's getting in the weeds a little bit, but there's a cutoff date for old applications that can be reused in the present. Moving that date from the April 31st, 2001 to April 31st, 2021, so that these people can fix their status, but oftentimes it means waivers and traveling abroad, and there's so much uncertainty. Whereas moving the 245I cutoff date could help a lot of people who are here being productive members of society and allow them to benefit by fixing their status. Is there anything that comes to mind for you?
Very similar to the 245I, fixing the status in the United States. Why not come up with a program where these undocumented or illegal people who fell out of status, if you can save the country, if you can do something that contributes to the welfare of the Commonwealth, you have no criminal history, you get a work permit that you can now work legally in the United States as opposed to, in the shadows, in the dark. Just like when you're on a naturalization test, you are asked every single time, will you be willing to serve
in a non-combative role?
Non-combative services such as the Red Cross. Yes. Okay, well then you qualify to be a citizen. Well, in the same way, can you do something like that to get a parole status?
You bring up a good point because not only are people not going anywhere, but given the state of the world, given climate refugees, given the instability amongst foreign governments, what is not being addressed now will continue to get worse. And whether it's the housing crisis, whether it's the pandemic, our generation will be the ones ready to have to figure it out because it will fall into our lap in the same way that, you can't buy a house anymore. But it's going to take forward thinking and it's going to take people, I would say, people from our internet generation that realizes the power of fixing problems because they should be fixed. Not if I fix this problem, I will get a lot of good publicity for it and then I'll get reelected.
Oh, geez.
But politics being politics, we'll see.
Right. Thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure.